Welcome to the Martial Arts Business Success Podcast. We're at episode number 113. Woo! Phil Britton.
Yeah. All right.
Jesus.
Well, we've been killing it. 2018, there's been some fantastic topics to help you crush it in 2018. We've had sort of a 4-part series to kick you off in 2018, sort of like your toolbox to success, both sort of you as a business owner, but what you need to be doing in your business as well. So to kick it off and sort of finalize this 4-part series and to start something new coming up soon, we're talking about how often you should train your staff. We talked about last episode we talked about the intentions. How do you set your intentions with your team, and how do you create that big picture mission, vision, and value, and sort of vision for your staff, and get them inspired and motivate. But when it comes down to it, how often do we or should you be training your staff?
Wow, Phil. Well, it's like how often you shower.
Yeah,
every day. And I guess that's for some people. They're just like, I can't do that. Yeah. Well, what I want to do first, before we dive into this, and you talked about intentions and going back a little bit, setting goals and all the rest of it, this should be a priority number one for you. If you do not invest in your staff and your team, you will be doing everything yourself. If you're a one-man band, a one-woman band, so be it, but you've got to invest in you, obviously. But then you've got to look at, is that sustainable? For some, that's their lifelong dream and passion. That's, mate, kudos to you guys. But what we've got to talk about is the pains that business owners go through is not having the right staff because they don't put the time and effort into developing them. I like a little bit about, I chatted about the 5 Ps. There's a few things. There's 5 Ps and there's also the 7 Ps. But let's go to the 5. Is piss poor planning prevents, I'll get it right. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Yeah. And what it basically means is your intentions. We know that in midday through the year, I want my staff firing all cylinders. I've got to do the groundwork now. I've got to prioritize. I've got to plan for that. So how often are we training them? Yeah. Mate, are we talking physical? Are we talking mental, emotional? All the above?
Yeah, I think a bit of everything. I think it's important. What I would quickly want to say, because you're talking about even if you're a one-man or woman show, what if you got in an accident? What if you couldn't work for 6 to 12 months? So how often are you putting some time into systemizing and prioritizing the safe running of your business? And then who would you get to do that? If that happens. So, there's so many ways to think about this, and, sometimes we all have to sort of hear it a different way.
Yep.
And as we spoke about before about prioritizing, maybe you've got to put that sort of kick up your own.
I'm going to get you guys to do a little bit of an activity, and it's something that we do for different clients at different moments. And a lot of the time you talk about, okay, if you want to reach a physical, financial goal, how many students do you need to get to enroll to kind of get there? Well, let's reverse engineer this now and go, right, if you don't invest in your staff, let's just say, because I hear it all the time, you hear this, I can't afford to do that. Well, you can't afford not to. Taking a couple of staff to an event and investing in them, you think about that money you spend. Now think about if you didn't do that. Then think about not training your staff at all and something does happen in your business. What are the financial risks to your business if you have undertrained staff? And this could be the real, catalyst in your business surviving or not. You could go well and truly backwards and you may not have a business anymore. So from simply just investing in your staff in a certain way, and it may not always be about spending money, it could be just spending time physically training them or emotionally training them. When I say that, getting them used to dealing with different challenges that are coming up, and then obviously mentally training them so they're building their personal development as well as their professional development.
All right, so let's just maybe tic-tac-toe on some of the training. We'll sort of work big picture to small picture. So I think one of the biggest things that we do is every quarter, and usually around school holidays for us, because we have like a lot of instructors that are school-age students. They volunteer, some of them are paid. But basically what we do every quarter is we have an all-in training. So some of it's up in the boardroom, which we're sort of recording the podcast right now. Don't forget, if you just listen to this and you want to see the video, head over to our website, go check it out. If you're watching the video and you want to listen to it in the car, head over to iTunes, download it as well. You can also get that on our website as well. But our quarterly meetings are that all in, and we have it on school holidays so we can have the school kids come down and be a part of it. And it's not often that our sort of 15, 16, 13-year-olds or the volunteers get to train with old Shehan Graham and Shehan Phil over here. So, they may even not even really know us very well, So it's really good for us to then sort of go, well, there is a bigger lineage. We'll pause that word there, and there's a bigger vision, and there's a bigger. I want to say hierarchy, but there's more layers to the business than what they probably see. So we have all our volunteers from as young as they are. That as long as they're on the floor, as long as they've got a blue gi top, which is our instructor top on, as long as they're helping, even admin staff and stuff like that, they're all invited to this quarter meeting because we want to. Again, we talk about setting that intentions and the motivation and inspiring, but we also make sure that our instructors are hearing the skills and the drills and the expectations from us as well.
Yeah, so that is, existing volunteers and instructors. We've also got on a quarterly basis that we do our instructor training courses. So we run our instructor development course. Now, this is something that we run on a weekly basis over a quarterly period for the kids, and then for the adults, it runs once every quarter. Yep. So because of the fact that adults don't generally have the time to commit to every single week, some do, some don't, but to get a greater success, we do it once a quarter, and it means that we can lock down for a weekend and really put some time and effort into growing new staff. So this is existing staff that are already with you that'll level up, and then brand new people who may want to enter into the instructor realm and learn how to be an instructor as well too. So that's done once a quarter as well too. So you start thinking, geez, how does this work? So think of it being like not on the same quarter, it's slightly offset. So there's a fair bit of training that goes on around here.
Just thinking, I don't know, prove me wrong out there, but I know people who we coach and they don't do any training. Even do the training once a quarter would be like, oh man, that would be awesome for my guys.
Yeah.
But we're going to level it out a little bit more. We level it up, don't worry. So what do we do other than a quarterly?
Hey, look, just before I do shoot off on that, because we've got one coming up the end of February, an instructor training course. If you guys with being part of TIMA or even just listening to the podcast and whatnot, want to be involved in our instructor training, it's a 2-day event. Let us know, guys, admin@tima.com.au. We will be letting you guys know. We're going to open it up to a select few people. Obviously, it's mainly for our staff, but I've got a handful of spots that I'm going to give to, obviously, our TIMA loyal clients and also, friends that are out there. So hit us up if you guys are keen, because at the end of the day, we're pulling back the curtains, we're opening the doors, and you guys get to share a weekend with myself and do a ton of instructor training. So that's coming up the end of Feb.
Cool. So the next thing is, we do the quarterly. Then every single month we have our full-time staff. Every single month, full-time staff they come in and do, again, another in-depth training. So you could almost go, it's just the next level of training. So if we've got everyone in the training, there's only so many sort of levels of training you can get to. But when we've just got our full-time guys, we can go to that next level. And that's how long, 2-3 hours?
4 hours for hours for the big one. And then we've got 2 hours for the individual ones that go with it.
And there's sort of broken down to about an hour sort of in the office, in the boardroom, and about an hour of on the mat type stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure.
We also like to kick in a little bit of lunch there and fuel up the tummies, you all probably know the way to a martial artist's heart is to fill their bellies, What else we got, Graham? So we've got quarterly, we've got monthly. All
right, we've got weekly managers meetings.
Of course we do.
So again, team, it's something that we open up our boardroom to you guys who are part of the TIMA Mastermind. If you're not, obviously check it out. But it shows you weekly what we're doing, what we're discussing, how we stay accountable, how we have our guys understand the intentions, the small goals. Because at the end of the day, big picture ideas are great, but they're made up of all these little tiny parts. And that's what we review on a weekly basis, from events, marketing, stats, KPIs, how to upgrades, cancellations, general problem solving, all that sort of stuff. And that's detailed on a weekly basis.
Yeah, that's really cool. So important to know that, that we do that. And if you can sort of see the pyramid, we go quarterly, everyone, monthly, full-time staff, weekly, managers, and then daily, we have our the gi by
power,
3.
Power meetings.
Power meetings. We spoke about it in a previous episode. We have a gi by 3 where our managers really look after their own sort of team on a daily basis. And then to flip it is go, well, geez, and all that business training, what do you guys do to actually do martial arts? Do you do any martial arts training?
Yes, we do. But we've got a compulsory twice a week on a Monday and a Wednesday from 10 to 12. So that's a 2-hour session twice a week where they do their physical training, where they're learning to level up as a martial artist. They're learning new skills and drills, having fun, generally staying fit, and that's compulsory. Compulsory. If you're a paid instructor and obviously in that realm that you can be here, you're not at school, You got to be here. And then to be honest with you, we also have a lot of the other guys, the other instructors will train as well on the other days, the off days. So it's one of those things that is a compulsory thing. We've got one level up too that my upper leaders, the upper managers are doing on a Friday morning. They're doing an hour of training, and that is just the high rank stuff, which is like your 3rd and 4th dan type training. Because at the end of the day, when we're doing a 2-hour lockdown and you've got lower ranks, even though they're staff, lower ranks mixed in with higher ranks and whatnot, you've got to make sure you play to the masses and everyone gets a bit. So,
absolutely.
Geez, when you look at that, you just go, wow.
Yeah.
Look, what I'd love to do, Phil, once we kind of get back into the offices properly, I think it'd be great if we map out a bit of a timeline, a bit of an idea, so you guys can visually see when we do our stuff. So that's something I'll get going on there, because look, at the end of the day, it's nice to reference what's volunteer, what's paid staff, what's staff development, what's business training, all that sort of stuff. Because when you look at it, you kind of go, Jesus, you guys invest a lot in your staff, and it's really important for you guys to see how important it is and how much we value staff development and training.
Absolutely. So you heard it, guys. That's what we do here at Wayma. We by no means don't think that we're the best, but we're doing something right. We're continually growing. And I was just thinking about, I was reflecting the training classes that we do with the instructors.
Yeah.
So twice a week for 2 hours a pop. 98% of the teaching that Graham and I do are just those classes.
Yep.
So we only really train the trainers, and that's pretty cool to be able to do that and get to the point where if we don't want to teach in classes, normal classes, we don't have to. We're not scheduled. We don't do that. We sometimes come down and do guest appearances. Sometimes we do seminars in our own school. But it's really cool to go to that point and go, well, you know what? It's cool that we're just training the trainers. And at the end of the day, that's sort of our training as well. Keeps us sharp, keeps us moving and grooving, and keeps us accountable and on our teaching game as well.
Hey, just to add to that, because I know that some people have questioned me in the past and go, well, aren't you a martial artist? Don't you love teaching? I said, yeah, of course I do. But from a business position, when me and Phil are not actively teaching class at night, we're training, we're learning, we're growing. So when we teach our trainers and our instructors, they then take our learnings and then they then go show their students. So their students look to them as like, man, you guys are amazing. Wow. If we always jumped in and stole the show, the idea of having their students almost see them as secondary, well, that's not what we want. We want to make sure that we continually promote our instructors as being better than us.
Yeah.
So that's a way that we do that. So we love training them. We show them the tricks. They go show their students, and the students think they're wonderful and levitate. And it's like, well, you know what? That's pretty awesome. And I have a bit of a funny one just before we wrap up. Both our kids were training at the same dojo, and one of them, my son, turned around and said, "Man, Dad, the instructor who runs that branch, he's now a 3rd degree. Obviously, we're 5th degree." He goes, Dad, Day Senpai Will, or now Sensei Will, he's way better than you is." And I was like, man, he is. He's way better than me. And I was just like, you know what? It's exactly what we strive for.
Yeah.
Is to make sure that our staff are perceived as always being more knowledgeable than us. So we're quietly behind the scenes leveling them up to make sure they're outstanding.
And there's nothing more better. I was just going to say, like, we've taught something in the instructor class. You walk past the day class or whatever, and they're doing the exact same drill, and you're going, oh, you've made an impact, and you can see the flow-on effect. They're happy because they're doing something a little bit new, a little bit cool.
Yep.
Obviously under our approval, but it makes us smile as we walk past and go, we're still making some impact, and we're still learning, we're still growing as martial artists.
So there's method to our madness in everything that we do.
All right, team. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this sort of 4-part series as we kick-started 2018 with your toolbox for success. If you have any questions, any thoughts, any feelings, anything that you'd like us to talk about, reach us to at admin@tima.com.au. If you love what we're talking about, you want to be part of the journey, come check out our website, tima.com.au. We'd love to help you out, guys, and let you be part of our journey.
Hey, I've got a challenge for you guys that are watching this and listening. Accountability is the key. So after you've listened to this 4-part, send us your schedule of what you're going to be doing, your action plans, your intentions, what your goals for this year is going to be, and we'll hold your feet to the fire and definitely help you get there.
All right, guys, thank you, and we'll see you very soon. Ciao.
See ya.